Dr. Lori Monaco and I had a wonderful collaboration. Remind the audience what it was all about.
It was about aligning with your body and aligning with body language.
I am an expert in detecting deception and body language, but Dr. Lori Monaco helped me better understand the spine. We all need a spine. Some people need more of a spine. Get a spine. But what I learned from Dr. Lori was the importance not only of the spine, but the flexibility and how it keeps us balanced. And I didn't know about the ligaments. I didn't know about the ligaments or the muscles. That helps all support the spine. So tell us what the importance of the spine is for our overall well-being.
Well, and the interesting thing is my business is Align Yourself. So it's about aligning your spine so that you have a free flow of information from your spinal cord up to your brain and then back down the other way. That allows for you to just live a very healthy life, healthier life, also aligning the other parts of yourself, meaning your mental and emotional well-being and your physical body. So as long as the spine, which is the centerpiece of you, is in alignment, your muscles will be balanced, your ligaments will be balanced, the whole body will be balanced, and then the rest of you will sort of fall into place.
And you really helped explain that well to the audience. You helped emphasize my overlapping part of our senses, absorb information and stimuli from the environment and sends it to the brain. But the brain and the spinal cord and the nervous system are all interconnected, so the message gets across and throughout the body.
The spinal cord is like the highway, like the interstate, and the nerves that come off of the brain or the spinal cord are like the side roads. Now, if any of those are blocked, then you can't pass on it. You have to take a detour, just sort of block temporarily, and then other areas sort of compensate. When we are off in any way, whether it is from the spine being off or the muscles being out of balance, it affects our whole well-being. Think of it in terms of if you are crooked, if you're physically out of balance, it's really hard for you to gauge your present moment. It's hard for you to gauge properly, so you can't really see things properly. That was the beauty of why we collaborated together, because there's the physical knowing of if you're off, it makes sense that you can't see clearly, but then you took it the next step. You took it to say, what's in front of us that we're not seeing, even when we are in alignment physically, our own self, what is in front of us that we're not seeing, because it's so subtle.
You are an excellent teacher, and both you and I do thank you, do the body demonstration. And so when we role model our head tilt off, or when I ask the audience to mimic what the subject is doing, we then feel and experience what the target may be experiencing. Anybody else who is interacting with that person, if they notice something is not symmetrical, because beauty is symmetry, and we tend to gravitate towards things that are in balance, but if there's anything off balance, it leaves a negative impression. So if you're slouching our shoulders, that sends a nonverbal message. So not only do we want to stay aligned for our own well-being, but also how the world sees us. I highly recommend Dr. Lori Monaco for not only her chiropractor training and expertise, but also tell us a little bit more about your mindfulness and wellness coaching and fitness well-being coaching.
I've been a chiropractor for over 2 decades. I put together the 7 core pillars of self. So the physical piece, which is what I work with as a chiropractor, but then there's also the physiological piece, which is affected by the spine and the nervous system and the spinal cord and brain, and it's how our body functions and how it takes care of ourselves and does its normal job, all the systems of the body. But then there's also your being in balance mentally, being in balance emotionally, being in balance spiritually and socially and financially. And when all of those things are worked through, you will become optimally balanced, and you will be in alignment with self, which is alignment with your most authentic self. That's what I do as a coach and with the workshops that I teach, and I use mindfulness living and practice as the premise for what I teach, and then the tools associated with mindful living, so that individuals can create alignment in their lives with all those 7 categories because they're more present and they're more aware of self. You teach people to be aware of the interactions with other people, paying attention to the little things that often slip by us. That's why it was such a really good combination for the both of us, because one thing to become aware of self, but then awareness is outward. So you have to be aware of everything, including other people.
Yes.
and understand how to read those situations and those people, not just for your own personal well-being, but it's even valuable, priceless really, for business.
It is. If you flip an imaginary coin, Dr. Lori and I will put our imaginary quarter on our thumb and we're going to flip it, catch it, slap it down, rub it for good luck. Okay, heads or tails? What's your call?
Mine's heads.
Mine's tails. Reveal it. It doesn't matter, heads or tails, you only have about, and clinical research shows, 50-50 chance of catching the clues. So if you are only catching 50%, guess what you're missing? 50%, unless you have accurate body language training. If you want to improve your odds of improved well-being, mindfulness, and body language savvy, you need to contact Dr. Lori Monaco or Accurate Body Language Jeanette Gadati so that you can be the most optimal in mindfulness, awareness, alignment, and being able to detect and decode body language. You've had some training in body language. What did you get out of that training? Either reinforced what you learned or added to what you learned.
So what Jeanette was teaching us was looking at micro expressions, body language, how did they match, did they not, did they match with what the person was saying. So what I learned was not just to look at the person actually speaking, but also so we were watching an interview, and so we were watching how the interviewer was also responding. You taught us that it's subconscious, they're subtle, and we pick up on those energies. The interviewer was picking up on the energy that something wasn't quite right. So most people who were watching it, they might not have noticed anything until you pointed it out as you were going. Once you pointed it out, then you saw the interviewer's body language and facial expressions, and it was so interesting. What I've been learning, I just focus more on the one person, but what I learned that was new was to just sort of step back, the parties that are sort of on the outside within that circle, and it was extremely interesting, and you were spot on, like spot on with it.
The clues are always right there in front of us. Now the audience has more insights about that and attention to that. Everything is interconnected in the body. When we are communicating, people miss out on the 50%. Remember I said only 50%? So if you're only looking at Jussie Smollett, you're missing the 50%. Her senses were absorbing the stimuli that she was receiving. Her brain was interpreting that and sending the messages to the nervous system to show the head tilt, and her eyebrows were always like, you're kidding me, bro. You're kidding me, because, I can see right through you. And did you see her nostrils flaring? Oh my God. Who looks at nostrils? Jeanette Gadati of Accurate Body Language, and now Dr. Lori. She was mad because the person she was interviewing was not being truthful, not being credible, and giving her a lot of bullshit.
Think about the value behind that. If you're in business, listen, just in regular interpersonal relationships with your friends or family, to be able to read if a person is being truthful to you or not. In a business stand, buying something as in your personal life, but if you're in your business and you're not just purchasing from somebody, but what if you're selling? If you're selling, you can read the audience and you could read the person you're speaking to, and you could determine immediately if they're interested or they're not by their micro expressions, by their body language, their position, not even by their words, but by the way they're sitting there. And then you can decide if you're going to redirect. Maybe I just walk away because this isn't going to work for this person, or let me say it in a different way, be resonating with. That's the beauty of what you teach. What you teach isn't just, listen, it's a lot of fun to learn this. I'm going to tell you, like,
I make it fun.
But it's like a superpower. Oh, but I can also use this for my business. I would highly recommend people work with you, Jeanette, in all capacities. You coach, you teach workshops, you're a therapist. You have so much to offer because of your vast knowledge in the psyche of the brain, and now with regards to reading body language and microexpression.
I see continued collaborations between Dr. Lori and me. It's always about igniting our superpower. I help everybody reclaim your natural fluency in your born language. Make sure you catch all of Dr. Lori's events, books, workshops. Follow Dr. Lori on Instagram. What's your handle?
Instagram, it's the Badass Buddha one. On Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, it's Dr. Lori Monaco.
She is badass. I'm a badass body language babe. Catch us. Bye. Contact Jeanette Gadati of Accurate Body Language for training and consultation so you can spot the lies, get to the truth, and avoid costly mistakes. From head to toes, the body always shows the truth.